So, a couple of months ago, Sony released their very first trailer for the movie adaptation of the massively popular 2015 video game Until Dawn. This seemed like it should have been a slam dunk, but the collective response from the public was basically, what? The trailer shows an entirely new cast in completely unrecognizable locations fighting mostly unknown monsters. They also introduced this new plot point where the characters are in this time loop and they keep dying throughout the night, and the only way out of the time loop is to survive until dawn. It's a cool idea for a horror movie, but it's not exactly evoking the game Until Dawn. Let's check out some of the comments on the trailer, shall we? Hey Sony, I've got a question. Did your writers even play the game before writing this? The directors. OMG, we love the Until Dawn game so much, we wanted to create something completely different. Bro, I played Until Dawn several times and it's one of my favorite survival horror games. WTF is this? Imagine books being adapted this way. Like a movie titled Harry Potter about a guy named Jeff in Florida. Let's steal the Until Dawn title and just make up our own movie. You know, I'm ashamed I let myself get excited for this. I should have known. Frankly, I could go on and on and on with these comments, but we'll stop there. You get the picture. As the release date gets closer and I keep seeing more and more advertisements for the movie, it just got me thinking, what exactly went on here? Originally, I was going to come on here and do one of my I fixed XYZ videos where I would come up with a premise for my own Until Dawn movie, but and this is not a read, y'all, but I literally did one Google search and the puzzle pieces totally fell into place. From what I can tell, the premise of this movie is actually the exact type of thing that I would have pitched to you in an I Fixed the Until Dawn movie video. The premise is not really the problem here. So, what exactly happened? Let's talk about it. Hi, by the way. My name is Jessie, and I sometimes make videos about media and entertainment from the perspective of a screenwriter. And sometimes I abandon my channel for over a year. But don't worry, I didn't forget about you. I just didn't have any ideas for a video for over a year. What are you going to do? So, a quick recap of the Until Dawn video game if you're unfamiliar. It is a story based survival horror video game where you follow a group of teenagers who return to this mountain lodge after 1 year of their friends going missing. Things quickly devolve as they all realize that something, or maybe multiple somethings, I don't want to give too much away, is trying to kill them, and they basically have to survive the night. The game heavily explores the idea of the butterfly effect, as the primary gameplay consists of making decisions that influence the story in a branching narrative. Once again, this doesn't exactly sound like the premise for the movie, so what gives? Let's take a quick look at the Wikipedia page for the movie and see if we can piece some things together. Until Dawn is an upcoming American survival horror film derived from the 2015 video game Until Dawn, set in the same universe and featuring an original standalone story that expands upon the game series mythology. Okay, that's a helpful piece of information that was not present in the original trailer. Feels like they could have saved themselves a lot of grief if they just started with a title card that said, based on the universe of Sony's Until Dawn. Well, you live and you learn. But why even make a movie like this? Why not just make an actual Until Dawn adaptation? This would actually be a lot harder than it sounds. You see, when you're adapting a work from one medium to another, you're usually doing so as a way to add something to the conversation of the original work. Usually, you're going to use the strengths of the new medium to pick up slack and expand where the old medium's weaknesses were. For example, a video game movie like Mario or Minecraft or even Uncharted will often focus on expanding upon and adding to the story and the character development, where the games obviously focused more on the gameplay. The issue is that Until Dawn is literally already an interactive movie, and so adapting it into a regular non-interactive movie would just straight up be a downgrade. And there's just not much in the way of story or character that you could reasonably expand on within the runtime of a movie. I get that people were expecting to see a direct adaptation, but think about it. Do you really want to pay money to sit in a movie theater and watch some half-assed recreation of "It's just a prank, Han"? What value is that adding to your life, really? Now, I do get that the gap between a one-to-one adaptation and whatever that trailer was is quite large. Maybe we could have landed somewhere in the middle. I mean, they could have at least used the same characters, right? Well, I don't know. Would you prefer to see a now 43-year-old Rami Malek trying to recreate his 10-year-old performance of a 20-year-old Josh Washington? Or would you rather have a Rami Malek lookalike try to recreate his performance? Or, secret third option, a new actor gives a unique performance and everyone gets mad because it's not the Josh they know from the video game. I'm not saying that an entirely new cast of characters was the only solution to this problem, but I do see why they made this choice. But then that brings us back to, what does this movie even have to do with Until Dawn if the premise and the characters are different? And I think now is the perfect time to take a look at the synopsis of the film. 1 year after her sister Melanie mysteriously disappeared, Clover and her friends head into the remote valley where she vanished in search of answers. Okay, that actually sounds kind of familiar. Let's keep reading. They find themselves horrifically murdered, only to wake up to find themselves back at the beginning. Trapped in an endless time loop, they're forced to relive the nightmare again. Only each time, the killer is different, each more terrifying than the last. And the only way to escape is to survive until dawn. This is where the puzzle pieces clicked into place, and I realized that this adaptation is kind of genius. The movie is embracing this idea of the branching narrative and basically mimicking the way that people replay the game over and over again to get different endings. Again, I get that this is not what people were expecting, but I have to say, in the age of cynical and lazy remakes and sequels, I love that there was an actual effort here to try something new. I also think the general public could have gotten on board with this if it was marketed properly. At least that's my speculation. At the time of recording, the movie has not been released, and I haven't looked at anything other than the original trailer for information. Maybe the movie is terrible, and they're only using the Until Dawn name to get attention because you can't make anything without IP anymore. I do think that there are some elements that the movie could have included, or if they are included, that marketing could have promoted, that would make a big difference in connecting the movie to the game. Elements which I will now rattle off in a Jenny Nicholson friendly numbered list. Number one, we already know this isn't the case, but they could have brought back the original cast and set the story 10 years in the future. As we already talked about, there's still a lot of issues with this, but the option was there. Number two, reference the original story in the premise. The new cast could have been venturing up the same mountain that's in the game to go camping because they want to see the location where all those kids went missing 10 years ago. I get that that lowers the emotional stakes of the characters, but I don't think it would be that hard to build them back up. And this way, you would get to leave a bunch of Easter eggs for fans of the game in the movie. Number three, location and vibe. The game takes place primarily outside in the snow or in an abandoned mine, neither of which locations featured prominently in the trailer. I think it would have been nice, even if there is no mention of the original characters and they're technically not in the same locations as the game, to at least have a similar setting and vibe so it felt more like Until Dawn. Number four, change the name. I get that they called the movie Until Dawn because they are capitalizing on the existing IP, but it wouldn't have killed them to add a subtitle. Actually, I think it would have helped a lot to help set a different tone and give the movie a distinct identity. And finally, number five, the framing. I'm gonna say it. The original trailer gave away too much about the story. I mean, unless there's some major twist, I can tell you exactly what the beats of this movie are going to be based on the trailer. They literally gave away the entire story. I really think they should have been a little more vague about this time loop concept because, as we've seen, it doesn't really play out of context. If you're not set up to connect the movie's story to video game storytelling and mechanics in general, then you're not really going to connect the dots. The strategy may have been more helpful if they were using the original characters or setup or locations, because you would have had other elements to point to instead, but I still think they gave away too much. I'm still hoping that the full movie makes this connection a little better, but they've already dropped the ball by giving away the game. Anyway, that is my 2 cents about the situation. Even if the execution wasn't perfect, I'm ultimately really glad that an attempt was made to think outside the box, and I think that should be rewarded. But what do you think? Are you going to see the movie when it comes out? Have I changed your mind about this whole thing? Let me know. Oh, and do feel free to leave me a comment with your general thoughts about the movie if you do go and see it, because despite the fact that I have come out of a year-long hiatus to talk about this, I will not be going to see this movie. I don't like scary movies. They're too loud and they give me nightmares. The only reason I was even able to experience the Until Dawn game was because I watched YouTubers play it, and that degree of separation just makes it less scary for me. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you the next time I have an idea for a video. Could be next week, could be next year, could be never. And don't you want to subscribe to find out? Seriously, though, I really appreciate you watching, whether you're here from over a year ago or if you're new here. I appreciate you sitting down to listen to what I have to say. It really means a lot to me. So, thank you, and I will see you next time.